All
Hey,
right. Oh. Wait a minute. This is new.
it is.
I'm getting scared.
Ooh.
So, everybody, welcome to EMP Review. We are broadcasting on Facebook Live and YouTube, right, Chef
Look at
Brandy,
that. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
EMP founder?
Das ist mir.
And I'm EMP Chauncey. What? That's not fair. EMP founder.
Oh, I want me to be EMP Brandy going forward.
No. I'm going to be EMP pioneer or something.
Okay. All right, listen.
We'll think about it.
All right.
So, welcome aboard. I am Chauncey, your host for EMP Review. I am here with our founder, our chef, our entrepreneurial visionary, Brandy. Say hello to the people, Brandy.
Hey, everybody. How are you? Thank you for that introduction, Chauncey.
Sure, no problem. And our wonderful colleague off cam, EMP Drea, is out there in YouTube land, with Facebook land, all of that. So everybody, you can talk to us in the comments if you're on YouTube, if you're at Facebook Live, we get them. So make sure you can locate that. We'll be checking that. We'll be responding to that. If you have questions, let us know at any time. And Brandy, welcome us to EMP. What is EMP? What's the deal? What are we doing? This is our final review of the year.
It is. Can you believe it? Like when we went out on this journey back in, was it September or October? We started the EMP review. I don't know exactly what it was, but we started.
I'm getting too old for you to ask me that. So
I know, right? How many? So EMP, Entrepreneur Meal Plan. Entrepreneur Meal Plan is a community for entrepreneurs looking for good food for their mind, body, and business. Entrepreneur Meal Plan is something that I created after working with entrepreneurs over the last almost 10 years now, helping them to figure out how do they activate their ideas and run their businesses. I'm also a plant-based chef. And so the thing about that was I'm living in two worlds. So I'm like most entrepreneurs doing all this stuff. And I needed to find a way that I could merge two of my passions into one entity. And hence Entrepreneur Meal Plan was born. Now, what is Entrepreneur Meal Plan as we see it today? Entrepreneur Meal Plan is a membership community where you get an opportunity to come experience these lives, right? You get cooking demos, you get recipes, actual meal plans, shopping lists, resources for your business, a community of other like-minded individuals, special events, and just simple solutions on how to take care of yourself as a founder, powering your profits and productivity with plants. Now, Entrepreneur Meal Plan is a membership, and this year, it's literally only going to cost you $30.23. Like, that's it. But that price goes away at the end of the year. So there we go.
Yeah, so it's like 15 days left.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah.
Christmas present,
14, 15 days.
Good Christmas present.
Good Christmas
entrepreneurial friends. Yeah.
And a good way to bring in the new year.
Yeah.
So with all of that said, Brandy, our topic for the day.
Yes. What is
Just calling it all things chocolate. And you
chocolate.
noted, hold on, wait a minute. Well, hold on. You didn't like chocolate.
No, I didn't. I did not. When I was a kid, I did not like chocolate. I thought I did not like chocolate. The option was chocolate vanilla. I always went with vanilla. It was something about vanilla that just seemed cooler to me. I don't know what it was. And I got older and I realized, like, it's not that I don't like chocolate. I didn't like milk chocolate. And so, but because I didn't like milk chocolate, I wrote chocolate off. But as I got older and started to explore, I'm like, if I like chocolate chip cookies, there's something about chocolate that I like. So I have to figure that out. And I also like brownies. So I'm like, there's something about chocolate, parts of chocolate that I like, but like chocolate ice cream, chocolate milk, like that stuff just never did it for me.
Yeah. And you know, that's a lot of people are the opposite. They like milk chocolate, not dark chocolate. Yeah, you know I like dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate, yes.
But I'll take milk chocolate if I had to. It would be okay. Well, now it's plant-based milk chocolate.
Ooh, look at you. Ooh. I love making your life.
Yes. So what are we going to do with chocolate today? What are you going to show us? I hear it's a recipe that might take a bit of time.
Yes, it is. So we're going to actually make hot chocolate. I felt like that was a really nice way to end the season. First off, hot chocolate is something that is very, very precious to me this time of year. And I figured, like, if I could figure out a way to present hot chocolate that we could have regularly, that would be kind of cool. Now, there are two elements of this hot chocolate. If you want to, yeah.
Oh.
You could have it in the summer, and if this is actually partially a no added sugar recipe. So it's just two parts. Like you say, there's a part that's going to take time, which is the marshmallows. So that's a specialty item. The marshmallows we don't have all year round, but the hot chocolate, though, you can have whenever you want.
You mean I can't have marshmallows all year round? How dare you?
You can, but if you're trying to limit your sugar intake, it's not really it's not really recommended.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we'll see how to put that hot chocolate together, the easy part. And then for the special treat, it's the marshmallows. And we can use this in different ways, right?
Yeah, totally. And we'll talk about that after.
Lovely. So go ahead, Brandy, take it away.
All right.
And as Brandy's transitioning, everybody, we'll have some music. And she'll come back on cam and show us this hot chocolate with marshmallows. We'll see you on the other side.
Yes. See you soon. All right, everybody. So we're going to start with these marshmallows because, like we stated before, they take a little bit of time. So I am making these marshmallows with, believe it or not, can't bend it over because the can's already open, but candellini bean juice. Now, a lot of people know about aquafaba. Maybe if you don't, aquafaba is the juice of chickpeas. It can be to make things remind you of egg white. So anything that you can use an egg white for, you can use aquafaba for. Now, people think that aquafaba is exclusive to the chickpea, but it is not. Aquafaba comes from any white bean. So if there is a white bean, we're talking about a candellini bean, we're talking a navy bean, a great northern bean, you can use that juice as well. Now, I happen to not have any more cans of chickpeas available, so today I'm using what I have, which is this candellini bean. Now, I will say that chickpeas are the juice is a little looser, right? So right now I'm gonna have to do a little bit more work to get these get the maximum candellini juice out of this can. So I'm just making sure that I don't have any stray beans in this recipe. So I'm gonna dump these into a bowl so I can try to maximize this juice that we're gonna have. Now you're like, this person is sitting here selling me on marshmallows from bean juice. This sounds abso-freaking-lutely insane. But if you think about it, what is a marshmallow anyway? Like, a marshmallow literally is sugar and gelatin and a little bit of vanilla if you decide to put it in there. So this is a way for you to get that fluffiness of the marshmallow without all of the extra stuff. And a lot of marshmallows, like I say, gelatin is pork based, so it is not part of a plant-based diet. So that's not something that, as a plant-based person, you usually have access to, right? So there are brands of marshmallows that exist, though, in the world. If marshmallows are something that you are trying to continue to enjoy as you explore a plant-based life. And Dandies is the brand that Dandies is the brand that is consistently plant-based. And I say consistently because sometimes they're accidental plant-based brands. I don't know if any offhand, but that's one there. So I'm getting the rest of this good old bean juice out of here so we can make these marshmallows, and it'll be interesting as we see this come together. All right, beans. Now, like I said, the aquafaba or the juice from the chickpeas, for some reason, actually I know why, because it's not as much and it's not starch. Probably fiber that's causing all this extra. All right, so we got our good old chickpea juice. We're going to take sugar. This is just fine grated sugar. And this is why I say this is not something that we have all the time, because we don't necessarily want to have this much sugar in our diet. If we can avoid added sugar, that's ideal. Now, you don't need to use fine sugar. I just personally will think that it helps with the process a little better. You could use a wet sugar like an agave or a maple syrup. But this is I will say it is a volatile recipe. So the least that you add to it, the least liquid that you add to it, the better. And I always add a pinch of cream of tartar if you have. I think cream of tartar is probably a little more accessible. Arrowroot is another thing that you could possibly put in there just to stabilize it. So I am going to put this on I'm going to blend it, and it's going to make a lot of noise. So I'm going to mute, and I'll be right back. All right, guys. So I am back, and I didn't want to leave you guys here forever. So I didn't let these things get super fluffy, because literally this process takes anywhere from, I really want to say, about 8 to 10 minutes. And if you don't have a blender, you can also do it with one of those old-fashioned hand mixers, which I feel sometimes can be a little more helpful, because what I will say with the high-speed blenders, you have to watch them, because some of them get so hot that they're moving so quickly that they start to get hot, and the last thing you want is like hot marshmallow. So that's something. So I just wanted to show you how the marshmallows with the aquafaba transformed, and it's a little thicker than it was. I really just can't comfortably sit here and have us just like waiting for this to materialize. But I'll do a little bit of hand mixing to get a little more fluff to put on top of this, on top of the hot cocoa. So right now what I'm doing is I am heating up a little bit of oat milk. So I'll tell you, I actually made this oat milk. A lot of times people spend money on oat milk unnecessarily, and sometimes it has a bunch of crap in it that you don't really need. So what I did before we started, I just soaked some oats. And oat milk, you don't want to soak too long because it gets slimy and weird. And so if you do it just about 20 minutes and then mix it with water, I mixed it with water and a couple of dates. And the reason I added dates to it for this particular recipe is because we're using it for hot chocolate. Now, if you were just making the oat milk and you wanted an oat milk that wasn't sweetened, you wouldn't add the dates. But because I was specifically making this oat milk for hot chocolate, I used oats, dates, water, put it into a blender, and then now I'm boiling it in this pot a little bit. Now, what I like to do, a little trick that I do for making sure that the chocolate mixes smoothly into the dish, is what do I do? I take a little bit of the cocoa powder that I'm using. A little bit of the cocoa powder that I'm using with a little bit of the milk that I'm going to use before I officially stir it all in. And I kind of make it into a paste. Now I need a little more milk for this one to really get like we want it. There we go. There we go. So blend it in, you mix it. In this way, you end up with a smooth hot chocolate that doesn't have any lumps and all that kind of stuff in it. So mix it up, a little bit of the milk. And then I'm going to put it into the, what am I going to do? I'm going to put it back into the pan. And it's hot. This chocolate is ready to be blended. And I personally, I like a lot of cocoa, a lot of chocolate in my dark chocolate, like a very rich dark chocolate. You could also, if for some reason you don't have cocoa powder, and say for instance you're not willing to make oat milk and put dates in it, if you had semi-sweet chocolate chips and like a milk that was already made, say an almond milk or something that you already had in the house, a soy milk or whatever, you could take those, melt them down, and create a hot chocolate as well. I also like to add a little bit of vanilla. This is actually a vanilla paste that I'm using. Vanilla just adds a nice note. You can also add stuff into hot chocolate like cinnamon. You can add in coffee. You can add in cardamom or cinnamon or even not cocoa, cayenne. Cayenne and cocoa is really, really nice. So we're going to get this chocolate into the cup. This is hot. Get me I forget sometimes. So I'll pour this in. And I am going to add some of our marshmallow fluff one. It's not really going to go on top, as we see it just fell to the bottom, but we can get some of it in there. And there you have it, a hot chocolate with aquafaba marshmallow fluff that is sugar free and nut free too, because we use oat milk. So I'm going to meet you guys back over at the camera. If you have any questions, let us know.
All right. So, Brandy, ooh, hot chocolate, how dare you? So let's go through and as Brandy said, everybody, if you have questions, comments, let us know in the comments wherever you are. We're going through those. Just so you know, Brandy, Renee said, looks like it would make a great pudding.
Oh, yeah. That's not a bad. Now, if you added some cornstarch, you actually could make it into a chocolate pudding.
How much cornstarch, do you know?
No, but I can let you know. I have no idea exactly how much. I can figure that one out.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that something where you would just kind of spoon it in and mix it up to see the consistency, or would it be an exact thing?
Like, I would say less is more, because it can end up going really wrong and being like thick and clumpy. So I'll probably start with about a maybe like a 1/5 cornstarch to water ratio to start, and then kind of see what happens and then add more gradually. But there are exact measurements. I just don't have them in my head.
So 4 parts of the hot chocolate to 1 part of the cornstarch. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
we got to say math in different ways now.
Yes.
So people can break it down. So, 4 little things of hot chocolate for 1 thing of cornstarch at a time if you were experimenting. Gotcha. And Renee also says cappuccino.
That could be a nice froth. I mean, I would say that that's a lot of work for froth, just to give you a heads up. You can literally get a similar froth with just say like taking coconut milk and just like whisking coconut milk or whisking almond milk. You would get a cappuccino froth without needing to like open up a can of beans and turn on the blender.
Yeah. And then, well, let's dive into some of my questions. And again, everybody, if you have questions, let us know in comments. How can you spot an accidental plant-based brand? Because you said accidental. How would you know? Yeah.
Well, it's about reading ingredients. So sometimes people don't some things just they're not marketed as say plant-based or vegan, but they happen to be plant-based vegan. Trader Joe's has a lot of those in their line. I want to say like their chocolate chips are plant-based. Their chocolate chips don't have any dairy in them. On the other end of the spectrum, Oreos are, they are a brand that is free of dairy and meat, but they don't market themselves that way. So that's what I mean. So it's all about understanding how to read the back of a package. And if you have, if there is no milk, if there is no dairy, if there is no meat, then it's vegan and plant-based.
Right. And the other thing is there are different things that go into being labeled vegan. You got to pay for it, number 1. And number 2, certain things wouldn't have ingredients in it that are non-vegan, but they might be made in a plant that does things where you might get a trace amount. So those are reasons why it may work for you, but not be labeled, vegan or plant-based or something else like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you gotta watch out though. Also, when it comes to milk and eggs and other things on the labels, they must say it. So even if you're thinking, is there milk in this, they have to say it outside of the ingredients anyway. So yeah, there's a whole thing in reading labels, Brandy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. And things change all the time. So that's another thing to consider when you're reading. Like reading labels should be a habit, because literally you never know what it's going to be.
So you mean if it's something you bought before, always reread the label?
Yes. That's my recommendation. Yes. Things change a lot. Like even during this time, there was a leniency put on the FDA at the top of COVID because there were supply chain shortages. So people could swap out ingredients without necessarily notifying you in that process because if they couldn't find it, they were like they didn't want to shut them down, but they had to let you know these things in on their website or something like that. But the packages didn't shift those things around. So things change all the time.
Sneaky.
Very.
Question about the sugar you talked about. You said maybe use a liquid sugar substitute, something like that. What about date sugar? Would that work?
Date sugar would work too. Totally.
Because that's dry, but it's thicker.
Yeah, it will work.
Okay. Why do the marshmallows take as long as they do? Can you tell us why?
Oh my goodness, I really think it's the process of like whipping juice into, and it's the same process when you're making like egg whites, when you're trying to get a peak on an egg white, like that is a process too. It just takes a little longer for it to come together. So I don't know exactly why it takes so freaking long, but I think it's just the whole process of bringing everything together that just requires, a little bit of elbow grease.
Yeah. Could you just make a marshmallow foam or cream if you want it faster, like what you had?
You could. You could.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could. I mean, it doesn't look as cool on top of a pie, but it totally works in a hot chocolate.
Yeah. So would you just put it on top of the hot chocolate? Would it sit or would it like sink?
No, it would
Break it
actually
down
sit.
for us.
If it when it gets to that peak, it actually sits. It actually stays there, kind of like a Cool Whip in a way.
Okay, that's cool. Now you mentioned you used vanilla paste. Why that? What about vanilla extract? Like
Vanilla
what's the deal?
extracts. Vanilla extracts fine. Vanilla paste has more trace of the actual vanilla bean. It's actually a little less pricey as well. You know, we've been talking on Entrepreneur Meal Plan Review about the insane price of vanilla these days, and so the vanilla paste gives us a little bit more bang for our buck, and you don't lose that natural vanilla flavor.
Yeah, yeah. I just paid $20 for vanilla extract. So
Listen, I know. It's real.
anyway, one more question for you, Brandy. And remember, everybody, if you have questions, let us know in the comments. Why does adding like heat to chocolate, cayenne, you said, why does that work so well? What is going on there?
I think it's the aromatic, that whole thing that it just like opens the chocolate up. That's my assumption. And the funny thing about the cocoa bean is that heat is the thing that actually activates its like flavor. So maybe that's something that has something to do with it in that way. That would be my assumption.
Yeah, that makes some sense. So very good. Okay, Brandy, any final notes that we need to know? Are you going to show us this whole hot chocolate thing in the end?
Oh yeah, we'll show it to you. Let's see what it's looking like over there. Yeah, we're gonna show it to you. Yes.
Okay, so before we do, we'll end with that. Brandy, take us away. Give us our final things to think about.
Yeah. So thank you guys for joining us for the Entrepreneur Meal Plan Review. Like we said, this is our last Entrepreneur Meal Plan Review for 2020. We will be back next year, same day, different time. So make sure that you check out our Instagram, our website, and get on our mailing list in order to be able to stay on top of the things that we are doing. Like we mentioned at the top of the show, Entrepreneur Meal Plan is a community for entrepreneurs looking to do business and life well by feeding their bodies plant-based food to help to power their business. Now, what this community offers is these weekly lives, recipes, meal plans, shopping lists, access to a community of vibrant creative entrepreneurs just like you, looking to figure out ways to find balance in life and in business, a resource center, and ongoing services, events, and offers that members in the community and partners of the community continue to add to benefit our members. We get all of this right now until the end of the year for the low price of $30.23. It's a great gift for yourself. It's a great gift for an entrepreneur that you may have in your life. And it's a great gift if you're just interested in figuring out ways to add more fruits, vegetables, and whole grains to your diet in a creative way and be part of a fun, progressive community.
Very good. So yes. So Brandy, thank you for that. We'll end with that shot of the hot chocolate. Also, everybody, next year it is January 6th. So Wednesday, January 6th at 4:30 Eastern time, we will be back. And I'm interested in how we're going to start the new year, Brandy. Don't give it away.
I won't.
We'll have something coming up. Okay. So in the meantime, everybody, please enjoy your holiday. And as always, at MP, we say do life and business well. Thanks, Brandy.
Thank you.